History is not just written, it is edited. Empires rise in fire and fall in blood, but some disappear in something far more dangerous. Silence. There are names carved in marble that every child learns, and then there are names deliberately scraped away. This is the story of an empire so powerful, so organized, and so threatening to its enemies that when it fell, history itself was reshaped to erase it. Chronicles were burned. Maps were redrawn. Victors rewrote narratives. Yet beneath layers of dust, beneath ruins swallowed by deserts and jungles, the truth remains buried, waiting. This was not a minor kingdom lost to time. This was a military machine, a strategic superpower, an empire whose influence once stretched across continents, commanding trade routes, controlling armies, and shaping diplomacy. But today, most people have never heard its name. Its rise was not accidental. It was engineered, forged by leaders who understood warfare not as chaos, but as calculation. Their armies were disciplined, mobile, and terrifyingly efficient. While neighboring kingdoms relied on sheer numbers, this empire relied on structure, advanced formations, strategic supply chains, psychological warfare. They built fortified cities along borders, trained officers in tactical academies, and developed communication systems that allowed commanders to coordinate across vast territories. Every campaign was studied. Every battle was recorded. Every defeat analyzed. Within decades, they expanded from a regional force into a continental power. Their banners flew over mountains, deserts, and coastlines. Trade flowed under their protection. Rivals feared them. Allies depended on them. At its peak, the empire was more than a military force. It was an organized civilization built on discipline. Roads connected distant provinces with precision engineering.
Naval fleets sécure de maritime dominance. Agricultural reforme fed millions.
Laws were standardized across territories, ensuring loyalty and order. Unlike many conquerors who ruled through fear alone, this empire mastered administration. They integrated local leaders, respected regional customs when useful, and imposed authority when necessary. Their capital city became a symbol of power. Massive walls, towering government halls, military parades that displayed strength to both citizens and foreign envoys. It was a message to the world. Resistance was futile. For years, coalitions formed against them, rival empires, ambitious kings, even former allies. Yet direct confrontation failed. On the battlefield, this empire rarely lost. Their generals adapted quickly. Their intelligence networks infiltrated foreign courts. They knew when to strike and when to negotiate, so their enemies changed tactics. If they could not defeat the empire militarily, they would attack it economically and politically. Trade embargoes, internal rebellions funded from abroad, propaganda campaigns designed to fracture unity. Slowly, pressure built from within, not through invasion but through corrosion. No empire is invincible. Corruption seeped into leadership. Power struggles erupted between military commanders and political elites. Succession crises weakened central authority. Provinces once loyal began withholding taxes. Generals once disciplined began seeking personal power. The system that had made the empire unstoppable now began to fracture under its own weight. Enemies seized the opportunity. Border territories fell. Trade routes were disrupted. Famine and unrest spread. What decades of war could not accomplish, internal division achieved in a generation. The empire did not fall in one dramatic battle. It disintegrated. When the final strongholds surrendered, the conquerors understood something crucial. As long as the memory of this empire survived, rebellion remained possible. So they launched a different kind of campaign, one against history itself. Libraries were destroyed, official records rewritten, monuments dismantled or renamed, heroes rebranded as tyrants, achievements attributed to new rulers. Maps were redrawn to minimize their territorial reach. Over time, the empire became a footnote, then a rumor, then almost nothing. Generations grew up unaware that their roads, laws, and institutions were inherited from the very empire they were taught to forget. Centuries later, archaeologists began uncovering fragments. Military inscriptions buried beneath collapsed fortresses. coins stamped with unfamiliar imperial seals, advanced engineering hidden beneath modern cities. Scholars pieced together patterns, trade networks too sophisticated to belong to minor kingdoms, battle tactics described in foreign texts but never properly credited. Slowly, the erased narrative resurfaced. This empire had influenced architecture, military doctrine, and governance far beyond its lifespan. It had shaped regional power balances that defined centuries. The silence in the records was not absence, it was suppression. The story of the empire history tried to erase is more than a tale of conquest and collapse. It is a warning. Power does not guarantee memory. Victory does not guarantee truth. History is not only about what happened, it is about what survives. This empire once commanded armies that shook continents. Its engineers built systems that outlived its rulers. Its influence echoes in modern institutions, even if its name is rarely spoken. And perhaps the most powerful lesson it leaves behind is this. The greatest threat to an empire is not always an enemy at the gates, but the slow decay within and the silence that follows.